Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I said good afternoon twice. And welcome. We are the Highwaymen.
We are indeed the Highwaymen. And why not say welcome twice, good afternoon twice? You know, why? There's not enough afternoons in a day, in my opinion, Jay. Let's have three.
Go on, do it. Do it again.
Good afternoon, and thrice good afternoon.
And today we're going to be talking about ghosts, and I am going to tell you about the time that myself and my wife both saw a ghost. But first, we want to thank our 97 subscribers. With 3 off 100, we can claim our name when we get to 100, guys. So any more likes and subscribes will be much appreciated, so we can claim our name and we can finally be the Highwaymen of YouTube properly.
I've honestly got to say from the heart, it's amazing. It really is. I mean, we have a great time together, and we have done for years. And the fact that other people are sort of joining in now and want to be a part of it, it's just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, huge thank you, everybody.
Now, also, I've got to mention, this is the first video in October, and if you've seen episode number 22, we decided that we would do a giveaway, and we had a little competition going. And we said, if you liked, subscribed, and in the comments told us whether you wanted a t-shirt or a goodie box of British goodies, then we would do a draw today. So I closed the competition yesterday. Nobody entered, so we're not giving away anything. So I think we've got to wait until we can afford to give away a better prize. You know what I mean? But, or maybe people just genuinely aren't interested. In fact, it was the Naked Attraction video, and they were too busy skipping forward to when Judith took all her clothes off.
Why wouldn't you? Let's be brutally honest. You can either have a good sniff of a snatch or a curly whirly. I've got to say, the curly whirly.
I was going to say,
whirly is up there.
I think the curly whirly is going to be my go-to there. So yeah.
What's your tipple there, Jay? Just got to ask you, what's in the glass there, mate?
Just Coke, mate. Coca-Cola. I've been away on holiday for a week, and I have to say, all inclusive, drink. I'm not drinking anymore forever. Well, probably till Christmas, but
maybe till the weekend.
Maybe Friday. Yeah, but so I've had so I'm ginned out, as they say, as I say. Yes. So ghosts and ghoulies. So I'm going to start actually with my little story of the time both my wife and I saw a ghost. Or shall we say, shall we believe in ghosts? Do we believe in ghosts? Do we believe in ghosts?
100%. 100%. Okay.
So so I'm lying in bed, asleep, as you do.
Can I just ask, I'm sorry to interrupt, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get the mental picture. Is this in your home? Is it in your own bedroom? Where are you?
We're in our last house. We're in our old house. Now, interestingly, Sarah had... we'd been to a funeral about 2 weeks before. We didn't think about this at the time, of her, I say step brother. It's her dad's fiance. They weren't brought up together or anything, but they technically were step brother and sister, but not particularly close. So we've been to his funeral, and he lived in our village. But that's sort of by the by. So it's the middle of the night, fast asleep. My wife wakes up shouting, Jay, there's someone in the bedroom. And I wake up, and I see somebody standing at the end of our bed. So I start shouting names, like, the daughter's name, start with Paige, Arissa, Dante, is that you? And I'm going through that. And then also this figure just shrinks into nothing and disappears. So,
oh my God.
Now, we both saw something. So without a shadow of a doubt, we both saw something. Did I see a ghost or did I not? I don't know. But my wife will often wake in the middle of the night or when we're watching telly and she falls asleep, and she'll suddenly wake up and start looking around the room and go, there's water coming down the walls. Why is there water coming down the walls? She does it a lot. Not a lot. She probably does it once or twice a year,
Okay.
She's done it more than once.
A hallucination. Really,
it's a waking hallucination.
Okay.
So my argument is, did she have a waking hallucination? And we didn't think about the funeral at the time. Although he'd been to his funeral, we didn't really think about it until kind of later when we talked about it. And then as she woke me up, did she put the idea in my head fuzzy eyes and all the rest of
Yeah,
it. You
yeah,
wake
yeah,
up
yeah,
with.
yeah.
And did I see what I expected to see? Do you understand what I'm saying?
There would be. Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Well, you know how vivid dreams are. So is
Yeah,
it a case?
yeah.
Yeah, is it a case of that as I woke up, she kind of put the idea in my head, and then I'd sort of looked and I'd seen what I was kind of expecting. That's
There would
that's my
be.
rational brain. That's my rational brain.
Well, that's it. I mean, there would be a psychological argument for that to be the case.
Yes.
So I'm quite sure that somebody who's an awful lot more clever than we are would be able to sit there and argue the reason for it is because our brain runs a slight lapse. That's where you get the deja vu thing from sometimes. And one side of your brain is catching up with the other, and you see what you think you are supposed to see. That said, I also don't believe in coincidences. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if Sarah saw something and then you saw the thing, and did you then compare? Did you both see the same thing?
Well, no, not immediately, because I was just kind of like, well, there's nothing there. There's no one there. Gone through the kids' names, and then obviously this thing disappeared. And I think, I mean, it's going back quite a few years now, and I was just sort of like, there's no one there, there's no one there. And we just sort of turned around and went back to sleep, as you do. And then sort of thought about it.
As you do.
This person in the bedroom, you just could have been Santa, leaving some presents.
Of course.
I quickly scrambled downstairs and had a quick look.
Yeah.
Did if he'd left me a full sack.
I wouldn't have been in a rush to get out the bedroom.
No. So that's my take on it. But I was thinking, because obviously I'd start to think about what we were going to talk about today, and I was thinking about ghosts. And I think if I was going to come back as a ghost, I'd want to come back as my 20-year-old self, or maybe I'd do a bit of virtual, not virtual, psycho plastic surgery on myself, or do you know what I mean? Make myself, a bit more buff and a six-pack on a 12-inch Willer.
In a roundabout
Why didn't we
way.
both thought of that? Why didn't we both think of that at the same time? Yeah, we both come out with a 12-inch penis. Yeah. And then I kind of thought, well, what is it? What is it? What happens when you die? I was talking to my brother-in-law about it, and he was kind of saying, well, he thinks that there's something after, but we come back as energy. And then I'm thinking, if you go back to our Aliens trilogy that we did, the last one when we talked about where humans come from, I think that's the one we talked about telepathy.
Vaginas. We spoke a lot about vaginas.
We did speak a lot. I think that was in that one, yeah. We spoke about vaginas, but I think we touched on telepathy. Good that we didn't touch on vaginas, wasn't it, really? But we touched on telepathy. But again, if you die and there's an element of telepathy within human beings, is it a kind of more of not a visual connection, although we see things? Is it more of a telepathic connection that enables us to see something that actually isn't there? Do you know what I mean? So we're actually seeing
quite possible
in our brains, because people talk about seeing elderly relatives, and they always talk about them as they were.
Yes, that's true.
Not their best projection of themselves, which is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, no, I can see exactly what you're saying there. But of course, we're seeing things from a physical perspective. And if you turn that on its head a little bit, and if it is all about enlightenment, if we are put on this planet to gain knowledge, to move on to the next stage or whatever it is, however you want to do it, that is when, as you die, that's when your zenith of knowledge. You can't learn anymore from that point on. So whilst we see things from a beauty or a physical perspective, could it be that is where you at your peak of knowledge? So from a spiritual side of the fence, that's as good as you get. So as long as we see an old person, do you see what I mean? It's not the outside that we're meant to be seeing, it's the inside that we're meant to be seeing. God, that's deep.
It's very, very deep. Seeing people on the inside, you sound like a gynecologist.
Well, always prepared to give it a go.
But what about people who see, say in these old houses, and they see the maid that walks through the walls? Oh yeah, well that used to be an opening, and things like that.
I do have a ghost story myself,
Cool,
as it
fabulous.
happens. So as well, we lived in France for several years, and we were lucky enough to purchase a very old. It was called a Relais de la Poste, which is where once upon a time the horses would be changed, ready to go on to the next section with the mail. You see, so it was like a coaching house in France, but purely for where they would come and change the houses. And of course, it was like a coaching inn as well, so that they could go and sleep there the night and all that sort of stuff. Well, this place was built in the Napoleonics. It was built around about 1750. And if you can sort of visualize it, it really was a stone building, and it had a stone turret with a stone spiral staircase, which bizarrely went the wrong way round. Instead of it going that way, it actually went that. And it's because the guy wished it was left-handed.
Yes, you told me about this before, I think.
Yeah. Anyhow, it had a cellar. And where we used to keep the wine and the beer barrels and all the other bits and pieces like that. And it was very low, the height to this.
Hang on, you bought beers by the barrel.
Yeah, well, it was a pub, wasn't it? It was an operating hotel. It was a hotel. Okay. But we had the bar that was open to the public. So it had beers on draft and all that sort of stuff, and the wines were in there and everything else. So I would say the height of the cellar entrance was probably about here if I was standing up, and it was an arch. It wasn't, but it was pointed at the top, if you know what I mean, like a medieval sort of there. And it had two. It was quite wide, and it had two big latch doors that you would go into, and it was the same height all the way through. You couldn't stand up in it, and it was really long. Went on for ages. Anyhow. After a while, it became second nature just before you got there to duck your head, because the amount of times I banged my pigging head, I can't tell you. So it was literally, and you're in and out the cellar a lot. So it was a matter of course, bowing your head. And on this one occasion, and I was rushing, loads of people in the bar, and I bowed my head to go. And as I did, as I dropped my head, I became aware of a person literally just stood right in front of me, and at that, but it was too. I couldn't stop, I couldn't do anything, and I literally went straight through this person. My head was still down, and as I did it, here's the really weird, freaky thing: the doors were still shut, but a cat ran out of the cellar.
Right.
It wasn't a real cat. It couldn't. There was no cat. So
it was a ghost cat.
It was a ghost cat. So as I kind of walked through this person, couldn't tell you anything about that because it was literally in my face as soon as I was there. But as I passed through the person, this cat ran out. And it was ever so bizarre.
So animals have ghosts as well then?
Why wouldn't they? What makes us so special?
But if you talk about, we have this belief that people don't move on and all the rest of it because things have happened that haven't been correct and stuff. How does that work with animals? The amount of animals we kill that have been
because what's to say you're going to be coming back as a human being next time around?
Yeah, I think if we knew we were coming back as animals, we'd treat them a bit better, wouldn't we?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe people that have been cruel to animals before, they have to come back. Well, I tell you what, you can come back and be a cat.
Yeah, or maybe people that eat animals.
Who knows?
All guilty.
Yeah.
So we believe in ghosts. I don't know. I think part of it is to do with wanting there to be more after life, isn't there? This wanting to believe it.
That I get. You know what I mean? If you've just been bereaved and you've lost somebody and oh my god. But what benefit would me seeing a cat be? And what benefit would your estranged? I mean, clearly not someone close in the family. So how would that? Why would you? Oh my God, I would so wish they hadn't died. I really wish they'd be here. And you kind of manifest it in your mind. That's not the case either.
I don't know. I mean, you think about people who have done drugs and hallucinogenic stuff. We are capable of hallucinating. I know somebody who did a space cake in Amsterdam, as you do, who talks of seeing giant things in the middle of the road and things like that. So we are capable of hallucinating these things with a little bit of encouragement.
True.
Maybe
True.
maybe you'd been sniffing something before you'd gone down there. Maybe someone had been gluing something on. You'd got a bit of an intake of it.
That's the thing. No, because when I was working behind the bar, I never drank.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking now. But seriously, though, but if we're capable of hallucinating from drugs and things like that, why are we not capable of hallucinating these things anyway? You understand what I'm saying? It is a fair argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, do we believe in ghosts? I believe that people see ghosts. You know, somebody like you say,
you're going to do Robson and Jerome. Then I honestly thought you. I believe for every.
Yeah, don't get your day job. Yeah. No. So yes, I believe anyone who tells me that they've seen a ghost, I absolutely believe that they've seen something.
Yeah.
Actually, there was another thing I was going to go on to. Actually, the spiritualist church thing. Now, my sister-in-law, I think she's kind of open to anything like that. She went to one of these spiritualist churches where they talk about the dead, and apparently, the first time it's very unusual to get called out. Well, she got called out. And Sarah had an auntie. She was a very, very particular woman, you know. And the lady said, "I've got a woman here." She described her perfectly, and she's looking for Joanne. And is there a Joanne here who recognises this description? And she put right now. And she said, "Can you stop putting pins in the photos, please?" And Joanne had bought a pin board like a cork board for in her kitchen, and she had all the old photos of her dad and her aunties when they were young, and they all black and white ones, and she'd put them on the pin boards. But I can just imagine her auntie saying to her,
"Whoa, wow!"
You know, like I say, she's quite particular. I can imagine her being quite offended by that. So again. Wow. I don't know. I'm open to. I believe in all the things that people tell me. I believe that people's experiences are true. But as I say, if you're going to manifest yourself as a ghost yourself, you'd want to manifest because you're not a physical entity at that point. You'd probably manifest a better version of yourself. So I wonder whether some of it's comfort in our heads, or again, if it's just energy. People are just floating in the ether. We've got Wi-Fi and radio waves and stuff. If when you die, you are just literally floating around in the ether, and at some point you can get into people's heads. And if it's not necessarily even showing them, it's just their energy in your brain suddenly gives you the hallucination. Talking about the space cakes and making this up as it goes along.
I guess that could be logical.
If that energy somehow taps into something into your head, whereas then manifests something that you think you visually see that, but in fact you don't. It's more of an hallucination. Is that what ghosts are? My God, I think I've just solved it. I've just solved the mystery of the universe.
You've certainly put in a very strong argument. I, however, am going to stick to my, as well, I do believe in God, therefore everything else that goes along with it. So in other words, when you pass away, something else is waiting for you. And so why not? So I'm still hanging in there for ghosts. Come on, ghosts. We're there.
There's something out there. We're never going to know until after we've passed on.
Yeah.
When Steve passes on, when I pass on, I'm going to go back and I'm going to give him a sign.
Oh, okay. Would that involve a digit being inserted somewhere?
I'm going to hide all your left socks or something. If you wake up one morning, you've got no left socks, you'll know I've been to visit.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm going to physically get through the drawers and unpair them and find somewhere to put them, but we'll
technical
cross
problem.
The bridge when we come to it. So that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and we will see you next time when we're going to ask the question: are the royal family racists?
Ooh.
Tricky one. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
God bless you, everybody. Stay spooky. Bye.